Good afternoon, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, y'all are doing good. Raees Mohamed here of Warner. You know, it's always super interesting to analyze these celebrity legal cases, celebrity defamation cases. In particular, you just never know which way they're going to go. You never know who's telling the truth. And aside from the fact that they get a ton of publicity and they're interesting to follow, it's also just interesting to see how people react to these kinds of cases. And personally, I find them to be extremely interesting. I think sometimes these cases are done, or at least brought to the light of the public on purpose. And, they're used for spurring controversy. And like many celebrities believe, there's no such thing as a bad publicity. And I don't know what you guys think, but I tend to believe that there is no such thing as bad publicity when you're a celebrity, particularly if you're related to the Kardashians, or if you're dating Khloe Kardashian, or if you are Tristan Thompson and you play for the Boston Celtics, right? So all of that is good for publicity. It may not be good for your reputation. That's the key thing. And that's what I think we're going to talk about today. We'll see if my colleague, Miss Rachel, will join us here in a minute. If not, we'll get started. But I think, defamation cases, the difficult part about them, of course, is who's telling the truth, and will the truth come out? Let's see if we can't get Rachel on here. Hello there.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? I just kind of I was at the pool earlier, so I was quickly getting ready and I got out of the shower, so. But
Okay.
I'm here. I'm excited to talk about this.
Yeah, super interesting topic. I just pinned, hopefully people can see the topic pinned in the window below. But it's just, I was just saying how I think it's interesting anytime there are celebrity defamation cases or claims, because people take sides very quickly.
Yeah.
And, you never know what the truth is. And of course, truth is a defense to a defamation claim. It's an absolute defense. But it's like, it's interesting and fun to go through the analysis and talk about it in the meantime, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you drinking there? It doesn't look like coffee.
Yeah, it's a little
chai
latte. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Rachel, why don't you give us a minute overview of kind of what's going on, how we got to where we are.
Yeah, so essentially what happened is Sydney Chase, she's a model, kind of, I guess. I mean, I don't think a lot of people knew she really existed before this happened, but she got on a podcast, which is called, it's No Jumper. They frequently interview like porn stars, like just, it's kind of like a, it's not that popular, but it is, but it is a popular-ish podcast. So she was on there, and
she was on back in April, like April 23rd, I think it was, not too long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago, and she was on there to promote her new show that she was trying, like a new reality TV show with two of her other friends. And on the podcast, she, I guess, was drinking and got, pulled up some text messages claiming to be from Tristan, between her and Tristan, said some salacious things about Tristan's, private parts. And then, of course, TMZ and all the news sources took her quotes, put it out there that Tristan Thompson was cheating with Sydney Chase. And of course, everyone's quick to jump on the hate Tristan train. He's cheated in the past, and it's been proven in the past. I mean, the Kardashians have been open about it on their show. But to me, I just feel like it's very convenient for her that it happens to be with Tristan, and she's so happens to have a reality TV show coming out soon. So
what's the those girls that were on the show, they have a name that they call themselves?
The Blackout Girls.
Blackout. Is that like the name of the show?
I have no idea. I guess that's what they call themselves, but I honestly don't, I don't think a lot of people knew who they were before this happened.
Yeah, I think it was on the show, like you said, she's showing her friends these text messages, allegedly, but obviously there's no camera footage of any of that, right? Like we don't see what the images are that she's sharing with her friends, right?
Yeah, no,
Kind of a
there's no
black box.
screenshots like posted anywhere else.
You know, and the interesting thing is, so far, all we have seen is the screenshot allegedly of her phone where she says, "Hey, Sydney, this is Chloe," and allegedly it's Khloe Kardashian, right? Reaching out to her to talk to her about it. And there's some language. It's like, I would appreciate it if our conversation can remain confidential, with like the prayer emoji. And I'm like, listen, of all the things you would share, you share that, even if it was like, and people question, right? People question whether that's actually from Chloe.
I think it's Photoshop because, I mean, Chloe, first of all, wouldn't reach out to her like that, just so knowing she would screenshot it and share it. And I also think that because I looked in Sydney's account and I looked at her up, and you know how when you have a business account, we get, even on our Warner account, we'll get message requests, but when you see the notification, it doesn't come up with the message. It just says so-and-so wants to send you a message usually. And you have to go into that folder and accept it, yada, yada, yada. Chloe doesn't follow Sydney, and Sydney doesn't follow Chloe. I looked on her account, like, you know, searched it. So if Chloe really did DM her, I think it would have come up as a message request and she wouldn't even be able to screenshot it like that. So, but.
Yeah. And it's interesting. It wasn't just the podcast. She starts the slow release process of like posting on her social. She being Sydney, went on her TikTok, right, and said, yes, the Tristan rumors are true. And that the last time that they had, you know, communicated with one another was after he learned about her interview on April 23rd, and the day after his daughter's birthday. I mean, here's like, as an attorney, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, so obviously as the story unfolds, you know, Marty Singer, who's a famous celebrity lawyer, like he's represented the Kardashians, he sends a cease and desist saying, you know, you need to stop, you know, this false information. Sydney claims she never got the letter. And it's kind of funny because this is something that people say all the time in our office, right? When we send them demands or cease and desists, oh, I didn't get it. But then she said, oh, it went to an email. First she says, this is untrue. There is no cease and desist. Yeah. Then she says, well, there was a cease and desist, just went to the wrong email. So legit, she probably didn't look at the email, whatever. Yeah. But one was definitely sent. Then I read that Marty Singer did a part 2, like basically doubling down again and saying, hey, you really need to cut this out, you know, because we're going to pursue litigation. So my understanding is that there were 2 actual demands for her to stop. I don't know if that's what you read.
Yeah, and they sent it to the podcast as well, and the podcast actually took down the video and cut out the part of the interview where Sydney talks about Tristan. So
yeah, they took it seriously, right? They took it seriously.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's so hard in these situations because it's like, this is what part of going viral with celebrity gossip is about on the internet. It's like, it could be believable. Like, it's possible he did these things.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But it's also possible that she's just some random chick who's making up stuff just to get clout and get follows, promote her show. And she may think, hey, if I get sued, like, I don't have a lot of money to give up anyways, and maybe I'll just apologize, you know, a year from now or something. And by the time she's grown her following and blah, 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 right? I mean.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's easy, and you know, I've said this before, but Tristan Thompson is a pretty easy target when you look at the situation because everyone's going to believe her at first. I mean, he's done it before, and she's a pretty girl. Like, it's not like she's not, you know, good looking, so it is believable, but I just think that I just don't see any receipts from her. I'm not seeing any screenshots, no proof. Some people are saying she might be saving it for the show, but still, I don't, and Tristan also hasn't tried to sue anyone else for defamation for making these claims because before, I mean, they were kind of true, so he couldn't really do anything. But the fact that he's taking it this seriously makes me believe that she might be just making stuff up.
Yeah, and what's really, really strange is she also claims that she didn't know. Let's just assume her story is true.
Yeah.
She claims that she didn't know that that Chloe and Tristan were in a relationship. I'm like, do you not go to his profile or her profile? Like, there's pictures of them holding hands and going out, and like, yeah, that's bogus. I mean, I don't even follow their show or anything, and I knew that they were
together,
in the relationship. So it does beg an interesting question: is why would she go through all of the effort of doing this? And I think that she has an incentive, like you mentioned, to promote her show.
Yes.
So here's what most legal insiders want to know is, like, how much liability is she is she opening herself up to, right?
Right.
And you know, I've been reading on blogs and random celebrity gossip sites where people will try to take positions on legal stuff. Most people don't know what they're talking about. This is we practice defamation, so I could tell you specifically, but truth is an absolute defense. So if she has a text message or something that could prove that they were having an affair. Now here's the deal. Unless she has an image of them actually, or like explicit conversations where he specifically in writing acknowledges, even if she has text messages with him, that's not going to be enough. Right? Because she actually says, like you said on the podcast, she went into explicit detail about body parts, that they did everything together, right? Like they've done everything and it was good and yada yada yada. So she better have some serious proof of these allegations.
And so she would have to prove that it's true, like in court if he sued her, or he would have to prove that it's not true?
Yeah, so as the plaintiff in a defamation case, you always have the burden of proof. So you would have to prove falsity.
Okay.
In situations like this, it's always circumstantial evidence, right? The plaintiff usually doesn't have the proverbial, smoking gun, unless he has something that says, where he sent her a text like, "Hey, why are you saying this?" And she says something to the effect of, "Oh yeah, I know I shouldn't be saying this, or it's not true, but I'm going to do it anyway." That stuff rarely happens. But yeah, so the burden is on him. He would have
to like show like receipts, like I couldn't have done this because I was at this place at this time. Like, would that be a defense?
Yeah, showing receipts is definitely helpful. It's different, civil cases are different than criminal, as most people know, because, in civil court, most claims like defamation, it's by a preponderance of the evidence. So it's just that you have to show a 51% likelihood. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. So you don't necessarily have to, he could account for his whereabouts on the dates, or, he could state that he was in a relationship, get affidavits from, friends and family, from Chloe. Maybe there's other evidence. Usually, like in cases like this, where maybe the two knew each other and there was some, malicious intent, he'll go back and produce some documentation of the fact that, look, she actually hated me. She threatened me, right? And it's the stuff that, like, digs at that person's credibility that is helpful. Right. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough because you have to show it's truthful, it's false. And then she would just come back and say it's true or substantially true, which, if you're claiming you had sex with somebody, you're going to have to prove that it was true. Yeah. Especially with the celebrity. So who really knows? I'm just really curious to see if she's going to produce text messages. If she showed these messages to her friends on the podcast, by the way, her friends clearly could be witnesses. Yeah. Will be witnesses. And I'm curious to see if Tristan will actually file suit, or if he's just going to send the demand and otherwise just sit.
I think, what's going to be interesting is if she does plan to reveal this information on her new reality TV show, because he sent the cease and desist, would she legally be able to do that now?
Yeah, so what's interesting is the cease and desist letter, usually, like when we do them, you write out your potential claims, you tell the point, you assume the person's going to show it to a lawyer and explain all the legal issues and etc. But it has no weight from the standpoint of, like, it's a voluntary decision to comply. So yeah, she can absolutely go on the show, and if she's smart, she might even do, if she has evidence, right? She might even do a little preview and say, here's a partial text message with, like, the phone number displayed, or some more details. It's just very stupid. I didn't see that she actually said anywhere. Did you? Where she said, "Hey, I will tell you more on my show." Did she say anything?
No, she didn't. She just said, some people are just claiming that. Like, I see it in, like, comments on TikTok and stuff, but she just said on her Instagram story that she didn't receive the cease and desist, and that don't believe whatever you read. The truth will come out, or I'm going to keep telling the truth, is what she said. So I don't know how she's going to do that, and maybe she's scared. I also just feel like unless she does say something else about it, and then I feel like Tristan won't sue because he won't want to bring more publicity to the situation. If he could just shut her up from the cease and desist, I feel like he won't go further.
Yeah, I think if it's kind of like one of those things where now that this is out, he really has to and probably should sue. And if he doesn't sue, then it's questionable, because then it seems like this could be true. And like now that this is all over every celebrity, right? Every celebrity gossip channel, you're an idiot if you don't sue. And you just made empty threats, and like what's going on? And you know she's going to run with it. If he doesn't sue, she's going to double down on it. It'll probably be the first, the first story in her first episode, right?
That's true.
Her escapade.
It's just convenient and crazy to think that the Kardashians kind of started with a scandal and they're just now ending their show, and now this girl is coming out of the woodwork and kind of on the same type of scandal. So I don't know.
I do think that people really believe, and I said this like just before we jumped on, that like any publicity is good publicity. Yeah. That, oh, this will blow over. Even if they sue me, like the most that they're going to get is an injunction telling me that I can't publish this. I don't have millions of dollars. You know, I'm not a high profile target. She's, for the most part, like you said, an Instagram model, whatever that means. Yeah. And she swings around in these circles. Like, what's her real risk? She's truly a nobody, essentially.
Oh yeah.
And maybe for the better. If she comes out and she does stuff like this, maybe it actually helps her become a household name, so to speak, right?
Yeah. I just don't think she has anything to lose. I mean, no one, and also, it would be different if this was the first time that there's allegations come out about Tristan, but no one's going to come for her, just because he's done it so much in the past. It's all like, everyone's just bashing Tristan and Chloe for staying with him, Tristan for doing it again. So, I mean, she's not getting bad publicity. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I read somewhere that Sydney Chase, I don't know what her Instagram, following was. I think I read it was like 22,000 or something when the first hit. I don't know what it is now. But
it's a little bit more. It might be in the 100,000s, but she definitely jumped followers from it too. So just that right there shows that she has already gained from it. So
I saw, or I read at least, that people were saying, hey, she's been screenshotting her social media engagement and going to potential sponsors to try to get some sort of sponsorship opportunities. And I also read, I don't know what you think of this. I read that she went to Black China to pitch like an opportunity to do some collab or something.
Oh my God. Wouldn't that just be insane? That would be like media frenzy over that. And especially since Black China is also suing the Kardashians for defamation. So there's another connection there. Maybe she's going to ask Black China for her lawyer.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a Khloe Kardashian and Kardashian hate club, period, right? And so it's a business opportunity to do business with them. It's also a business opportunity to be publicly adverse to them, because it's going to get airtime. But again, I just look at this as like, Tristan, tell Marty Singer, your lawyer, to just go full on. And look, what I was reading about Marty Singer, again, he's a celebrity, like high profile lawyer. He's represented the Stallones, he's represented the Kardashians, he's represented some big people for a lengthy part of his career. I think 30-year history as a lawyer in Beverly Hills and in New York. But what I know is he's an honest, straightforward lawyer, right? In other words, he would have said, like I say to my clients, like, I need to know the truth, because if you splash this, there's going to be stuff that comes out and it's going to make you look bad. So we either need to know, A, are we going to try to put a lid on this? Or B, are we going to put this out there and including in a publicly visible, highly visible litigation?
Yeah.
And so I have to think that Marty would have counseled Tristan and talked to Chloe about, look, if you sue and these text messages come out, you're going to be even deeper in the hole. So let's talk, let's talk turkey. And it seems like they've maintained their position, right?
Yeah. I'm surprised Chloe hasn't said anything, but maybe it's just because it would make it worse for Tristan. I mean, because if maybe she did reach out to Sydney, maybe those DMs are true. I still don't believe they're true, but I feel like Chloe would have gotten on Twitter and said, hey, those DMs aren't real, but she didn't. So
yeah, so I haven't followed any of their accounts, to see what they're saying. She hasn't said anything at all?
No, she hasn't said anything. Some people said that she took her engagement ring off because I guess she had never announced that they were engaged, but she was wearing a ring on her finger for a while. But I don't know if that was just a coincidence or maybe she was got her nails done or something and she didn't have it on. I don't know. But it wasn't anything too like publicized about Chloe. She's kind of just been staying quiet.
Interesting. No, I think that this is why I'm so curious about these kinds of cases is somebody's dead wrong. Mm-hmm. This is not something where there's an opinion at stake. They're saying something happened, right? Yeah. So it either happened or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Somebody's claiming they have evidence that it happened. Like, let's see this play out. And it's not the first time people have alleged to have had affairs or done things and then, settled or resolved their case or whatever, right? And so again, when I look at the legal side of this, I'm thinking, if you're Sydney, you kind of have to at this point double down because she's just admitted that it's true. It's true. I'm not going to be silenced. I'm going to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I just think it's funny. Like, if she really wants to tell the truth, then show something. I mean, you could save a little bit for your show if it's true, but if it really is true, then give us something. I mean, especially since the podcast took all of her so-called evidence down. I mean, they took it seriously, and maybe it's just because they don't want to be involved in like the litigation or anything like that. So they're just like, whatever, it's not worth our time. I mean, it's already out there now, but I don't know. Yeah.
I read some of the comments on Sydney's profile, some of her pictures, and it's kind of funny because she has, close to 100,000 followers. But she still doesn't have a lot of engagement. Like she doesn't have a lot of user engagement. This, with our marketing view, like user engagement is everything. Who cares how many followers you have? But people were literally like, hey, I watched your podcast. You're a beautiful person. Why are you stooping so low and interacting with trashy pigs? Why are you getting involved in a scummy industry? You have a daughter. Does she have a daughter? I didn't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, this is who knows? This person could be wrong. The person says, you have a daughter that will see all that nasty shit. Be yourself. Stop following around with those scabs. Blah blah blah. Again, this is just somebody's comment on one of her posts. Yeah. But it's funny because everybody that's actually commenting on one of her images is saying, "Oh, I came here after your podcast. Like I came here after."
Oh yeah. I mean, I wonder how her OnlyFans account is doing. I know she has one in her bio. If you click on the link in her bio, she has like 3 different. Like.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She has an Amazon Wishlist and an OnlyFans link. So I mean, it would be so much different if this girl was like, I don't know, had like a product or something like useful. But like to me, it's just like she's just looking for money. I mean, she has no like substance, nothing like, oh, I have a cause that I care about. Like, it's just like, give me money. Like, this is me. I'm pretty. Haha. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. I didn't know that she's got it's in her Instagram.
Profile. In her Instagram bio, it's like one of those link tree things. So it has multiple links. So you'll click on it, and then there's a link to her OnlyFans, a link to her Amazon wish list, and something else. Yeah. Yeah,
her Cash App.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So top thing on her wish list: a Belkin 3-in-1 charger, wireless charger. Really, lady? Really? $100? Like, go and buy that.
It's so like.
That's funny. That's funny.
She just, to me, doesn't seem that smart to like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the type of guys that Tristan or girls that Tristan, goes for, but it's just, to me, it's a little just suspicious.
What's interesting is from a legal standpoint, is it even relevant that he may have had an affair in the past? And I don't even think that's relevant evidence. Like, it could speak to his character, you know, and you know, what the kind of person he is, but it certainly doesn't speak to the truth. And usually that kind of evidence is so prejudicial that in court, that kind of thing isn't even allowed in front of a jury, because that's like saying, because you did something before, you did it now. And that doesn't increase, you know, the truth factor here. But I think that, like, and by the way, I don't even know if he did cheat. I read that he kissed somebody, like one of Khloe's friends or one of the Kardashians' friends.
Yeah, Jordan Woods. It was Kylie Jenner's best friend. He kissed her, and that they talked about on the show.
Okay. Okay. So as far as we know, he's not. I mean, he is an NBA basketball player, right? Yeah. But I joke around.
And he got caught another time, like while Khloe was pregnant, she's about to have the baby. He was caught, like, there's photos of him making out with some girl at a club. So there was that, and then afterwards was the Jordan Woods thing, Kylie Jenner's friend. That happened. And so for a while, Khloe didn't really talk to him. You know, they just co-parented. And then I guess during quarantine, they kind of got back together, and they were maybe engaged, also thinking about getting a surrogate to have another baby. And, you know, if you watch the new episodes of the show, it looks like he's trying really hard to win her back. So it also surprises me that it's happening now, because it just seems like if you're putting in so much effort, why would you, you know, waste it like that? So I don't know.
I do want to bring to everyone's attention the fact that she does have a 10-in-1 air fryer on her wish list, which is those air fryers are magical, by the way. I don't know if you've ever used one. They're super pristine. She's got a really nice one. Anyway, that cracks me up. I think it speaks to the kind of person that she is. Yeah. You know, really tacky. I haven't heard anything new, you know, in terms of legal action. And like I said before, Marty Singer is known to be an aggressive, like, publicly in your face type of lawyer, but he's also the type of lawyer that asks his clients straight up, like, you know, did you do it? And does it make sense to bring these things to the light of the public? Because if you did it, you're going to have your pants down, so to speak, right? Yeah. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I don't know. I think.
And you don't think, like you mentioned before, just, you know, how, I don't know if you remember, there was like an O.J. Simpson defamation case, like maybe last year with the Cosmopolitan Hotel. They said that O.J., you can't sue us for defamation because your reputation's so bad that you
defamation proof.
Yeah, defamation proof. Do you think that in this situation that they could, Sydney's side could say that about Tristan because he's cheated in the past?
No, I think those accusations relating to him actually kissing other girls is not the same as having a, you know, salacious, you know, sexual escapade with somebody. I don't think that like, when you think Tristan Thompson, again, there's a part of the world that thinks, oh, he's a Celtics basketball player. That's all I really know about him. There's people who watch the Keeping Up with the Kardashians who would say, oh no, he's that guy who cheated. And there's other people who say, well, no, he's the guy who's cute. So I don't think they're there yet. I think with OJ is just crazy because he's definitely a public figure, and he definitely, you know, he lost a civil case after the criminal case, and he's done so many controversial things, like so many, that that defense actually makes sense in that context. So yeah.
Well, we shall see what. I'm sure we will keep everyone updated if Tristan files, and there'll be more information that comes out. So.
Yeah, well, if this case actually gets filed, you can bet that I'm going to read the complaint, and I'll be interested to see what the defense is. And if she does not at that point fork over, like in response to that complaint, I would attach the text messages literally to my answer to the complaint to say, no, this is going forward. Yeah. You know, and obviously venue makes a difference too, because although in this case, I don't think there's any anti-slap protections. Like, even if Tristan's a public figure, again, the accusation is about sex. Like, it's a pretty significant accusation, and so I don't think it even maybe matters. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, and we'll keep everybody posted. I know you're deep into this stuff, and you'll tell me.
Oh yeah, I will keep everyone updated. There'll be TikToks if anything else comes out, I'm sure.
By the way, before we go, did you see that she posted on her TikTok? One of her last videos was like a montage of, I'm assuming the other two girls that are in the.
Yeah, she starts out her video like, "Hi, you've probably seen our name everywhere," like going, like just showing the different news publications, like we're the Blackout Girls, and I'm like, come on, like that's just so obvious. Like, who even does that? Like,
You know what's super hilarious is even with all this going around, she still only got like 30,000 followers on TikTok and
no,
like
I know. I mean, I'm
162,000 likes.
sure
It's pretty weak.
like me, I've visited her page multiple times just to see if she's posted anything, but I'm not going to give her a follow. That's not going to happen. Like, so I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are doing the same thing. They're just going to see what she has to say, but they're not interested in her. They're just interested in what she might have like claimed. So I don't know.
Yeah, they know it's a publicity grab, so to speak.
Oh yeah. It's obvious. I mean, at first everyone was shocked, like, well, not shocked, just kind of like, oh, there goes Tristan again. But now that more details are coming out, I think a lot of more people are like, yeah, she is kind of fishy. So.
All right. Well, we will keep our fingers on the pulse, and thanks for joining on Sunday.
Yeah, no problem. Love anything
Great, guys.
Kardashian related.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure there'll be plenty more.
Yep. All right. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to everybody. See you later. Thank you, Rachel.
Bye. Yeah, no problem.
Bye-bye.